We have formulated our music based on African traditions and African rhythms. The young people taking it and changing it, etc. But the rhythm pattern remains. So the Indian rhythm pattern remains.
All right, so we're inside with Grease Talk. We have here today the Honorable National Awardee, highest award in the country, Dr. Hollis Liverpool, also known as CHALKDUST. Dr. Liverpool,
Yes, sir.
so inside we have some views on our culture, and I want to just jump straight in, with what you think about culture in its current form. We could speak politics, we could speak social, religious, but I like to deal with the music in general. Where you think culture is right now with our music?
Well, as you know, you started up very, very good in the sense that culture is a very wide thing, and we have so many different aspects of the culture. So you can't just talk about culture generally, and I'm glad you break it down to music. Every country, every society has its own music. I was in Barbados once, and we were arguing whether Barbados has culture, and they were saying no.
Dang.
But every country has its own culture. Every country has its own music, and every country fashions its music. Just as how this boy sang a Calypso about language and how the Russian talk and the Japanese talk and a Korean speaks and an Englishman speaks in terms of language, so too in music, every country has its own music, fashions its own music. For years, people have been studying music, etc.
Right, so what is our culture right now?
So our culture, let's take the music as things are. The music of the Caribbean is still based upon the African and Indian rhythms. And we have taken those African and Indian rhythms and done do all kind of thing with them. There was a guy, Kim Johnson had a nice saying that all Caribbean music is African music. In other words, we have formulated our music based on African traditions and African rhythms. The young people taking it and changing it, etc. But the rhythm pattern remains. So the Indian rhythm pattern remains, and the African rhythm pattern remains. So if you take, for example, the parang, and you play parang, I can play parang in Spanish music, and I can play parang in African rhythm. And the African rhythm is still in the parang. So all our music is based upon African rhythms and Indian music. So you can take it and change it and add, but the root remains both African and Indian rhythms remain in our music.
Yeah, I'm glad you say that, Dr. Liverpool, because one of the things that we find with acculturation of the Americans, we tend to Americanize everything right now, so we tend to be losing a little bit of our culture, to American mass media marketing. What all your views is on that? Like how we been Americanized.
Trinidad is highly Americanized.
Yeah, and I think it's simply because of the internet right now, like with the social media platforms, how they have an influence on our culture. And I personally think our past generation dropped the ball. Like they never showed us how proud we should be of Calypso, like what it is. Because when you talk to people who like soca, they still have this narrative that soca is separate from Calypso. When Calypso Calypso is the genre of all of the Caribbean music. So, I'm hearing people saying, Calypso and soca is two separate
they're trying
things.
to put a big gap in between Calypso and
And it's so stupid,
soca.
like you can't really sing soca. Soca's f***ing beat. Okay, see, when you're editing that, or you could just be like a duck now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like you can't really sing a beat. So if you're singing the indigenous twang or melodies of this culture, or that is what it is, Calypso. Like everybody's doing Calypso. It's a different strand of it. Like how you have rock as an umbrella term for the other subcategories of rock and roll, but it's still rock.
Yeah, but okay, so you're saying that the internet, you say that the internet may have been the blame for that, but
No, not just
the internet didn't exist.
It's one of the things. That's just one of the most
Well,
prominent
right.
tools right now.
The internet didn't exist when Dr. Liverpool was a young boy.
Sure, right.
So what do you think Dr. Liverpool was the cause of all this Americanization in Trinidad?
Establishment.
A better word to use is globalization.
Well, yeah.
That the global world is coming down upon us daily more and more. And as it comes daily more and more, culture is going to change it. The flower is going to change, but all I'm saying, the flower is going to change, the stem might change, but the root won't change. The roots remain. So that 10 years from now, somebody will say they'll come up with something else again, just like how Shorty came up with soca beat, something will come up again, and so they go in. But the roots remain, you see. So we have to look for that. that globalization is a big thing. It affects everybody.
Did he come up with the soca beat, or did he just apply to a different genre?
He definitely came up with a soca beat. If you had to understand how this soca beat came. Shorty came from an African tradition. He went to Nigeria. They went with that boy, and he had an Indian tradition also in Philippines when he was living down there. And Shorty said, I am lucky because I was at the very first conference that Shorty had. When they asked him, what is this thing? And he says, I am trying to put some soul in the Calypso. And he called it soca, soul Calypso. He didn't know what he was doing. He just applying the rhythm pattern. Where we used to go boom, 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 boom. He said boom, 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 and he tried to make it put a little more soul. And he put in a little more soul because of soul music at the time. Not the American soul. He didn't talk about American soul. He was trying to put his own soul into a little feeling into the Calypso, a little more to make it a little more danceable.
Wait, so you're talking about his last album,
That's the very first. His very first album.
No, but that sounds like American James Brown music from the brass and the
whatever
guitars. It sounds like funk, soul, and R&B.
Yeah, but the Calypso beat is there. The Calypso rhythm is there. Calypso beat
But why do you think that more of the youths in Trinidad is gravitating towards the American?
Whenever I give an answer question before you even ask the question, whenever I give a talk on what is Calypso, youths are flabbergasted. The youths in Trinidad don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
So then, with that in mind, do you think that older Calypsonians may have dropped the ball?
I see, definitely.
The older Calypsonians, many of them drop the ball. Some of them come out of the competition. Some of them come out of all these things. Related, all of them come out because they say they can't take on this, they can't take on that. They come out. But we have failed, to a certain extent, we have failed the youth because the youths and them...
Yeah, in terms of passing on the baton.
So that is what you mean by dropping the ball. Like, they didn't educate the next generation. Yo, like, you need to be patriotic. You need to be happy about your identity.
But then one has to have the institutions to educate people.
Right.
You're going to a school, we're doing French,
the
Spanish,
Calypso
Latin.
are part of the institution.
Yeah, but they don't
That's
go
a part
there.
of education.
They don't go there. They're going to learn in French, Spanish, Latin, etc.
No, because like the Calypso tents are still very... It's an old vibe. Like, you're not really revamping the whole branding of the Calypso tents.
Let me make this point. I have gotten doctoral students doing doctorates and know nothing about the Calypso.
Gotcha, bitch. Yeah, that's very
why do you
feasible.
believe
I believe that. I know a lot of them as well.
Because they have never studied it, one. Calypsonians, you see Calypsonians learn Calypso by apprenticeship. They hear and they do things.
Just like Pan. Like, the only people I know who like Pan, they were indoctrinated as a kid because their family were in Pan.
In other words,
I don't know anybody who like Pan just over the back like that.
In other words, the Calypso is not just a rhythm pattern, you know. It has a lot of things to the Calypso. And the youth, them don't know. They learn it by the way. So somebody has to hold them in a classroom and teach them and talk to them.
Dr. Liverpool, I'm glad you say that because based on what the three of you are saying, I feel as though Calypso should be more of a lifestyle because you weren't taught Calypso in a classroom.
No, but I learned by apprenticeship learning.
Right.
Meaning, talking to other Calypsonians and correcting me and telling me, no, change that line, don't do this, and so I learned.
Yeah, because
but what about the lifestyle of the Calypsonian?
And the lifestyle of the Calypsonian also has
But what
changed.
is the lifestyle of a Calypsonian? What is it?
Well, it has been changing.
Like
Long
everything
ago,
else?
I'll give you a simple example. Long ago in Frederick, at the corner of Frederick Street and Park Street had a big sign and a Chinese club there. No Calypsonians and dogs allowed.
Shit.
Oh, yeah. That sounds familiar, just like London. No dogs, no Irish, and
In
no
other words,
black people.
the Calypsonian lifestyle was one of rum and drink and fetting and
Hoes.
And
And
all kind of
hoes.
thing, and hoes,
Forget the
etc.,
hoes.
and prostitution, etc. And people don't
I
want
was
them.
born to be a Calypsonian.
Good.
We were just having a conversation about the warehouse and hoes.
And you can't go and
That next
say, and you can't go and say, you can't go to the bank and say you're a Calypsonian, and you can't go to the government and say you're a Calypsonian, and government gave no Calypsonian no scholarship because there ain't no people, there ain't people.
So, all
etc.
right, so basically it was
So-
chastised to be a Calypsonian. So why people were flocking towards it? What was so nice about being a Calypsonian? That's like saying like you're a
there's-
gunman. Like
because-
something like that.
Because there's a beauty to the art form.
Because everybody like a little vibe.
Yeah, there's a
I
beauty
don't
to the
know
art
about
form.
that. I don't know
And your
about
mother, as Sparrow say, will throw you out of your house if you tell her you want to be a Calypsonian.
Definitely.
Just like a pan man, etc. Because they didn't see the lifestyle of a Calypsonian and a steel band man as being worthy.
I think it's a musician because once people think you're a musician in Trinidad and Tobago, they think, oh, he's a bum.
Yeah.
Like,
He ain't doing
that
that.
ain't
What's his
true.
life?
That ain't true.
I know because that is the narrative that West Indian people teach their kids. That
Nah, that
once
ain't
you're
true.
in the entertainment industry, you're a bum.
No, that
Yeah.
ain't true.
It's like they will kill
Some people who do understand music.
A lot of people, there's a lot of ignorance
Many,
to
many.
our
Of course.
own culture.
Yeah, some
Chucky,
people. Yeah.
you think that that artists and musicians in general are very selfish?
Of course.
Well, the word selfish, boy, selfish has such a wide meaning.
Yeah,
Well,
like
because
you need to put it
I
in the
watch-
context. It's all about
I watch-
context.
Yeah,
because
let's
we
put
talking
it into
about
context,
we talking about calypsonians and musicians, and I feel like guys like Sparrow and I mean I don't mean to make it sound like this, but
You
they
do.
never really
You do.
they never really open any doors that I
didn't.
could see
For younger
for
Calypsonians.
anybody.
They did.
Or somebody, yeah.
Yes, man, they open doors, man.
Like what doors? A back door?
They
To
open
stay in
many-
Trinidad? What doors?
They open many doors. Why things Sparrow open widely? It's a big
Yeah,
Calypso.
yeah.
Why think was a Calypso theatre started?
Okay, so like why didn't
Listen
they?
good. The Calypso theatre started by government to bring in more people.
Okay.
Kitchener brought Review 10 to bring in more Calypso
So what
auditions,
about the
etc.
business?
So they open up doors.
No, what about the business?
But even when they open the doors, they don't have many keys.
Nobody business model
And
because
the very
like
few
So-
the business model.
no, but they were in a position to open doors in terms of having a booking company because these guys know all of the promoters outside. They could have carried as an apprenticeship. They could have carried each young
They could
Calypsonian
only do-
around out there and do what they
They
could
could
do.
have only done what their experiences and their
No,
knowledge
they
teach
could
them.
only do what their pocket would have allowed them to do.
Correct. One.
Let's
and
not make it seem like
one Zane, and two, what the ideas would have had, education. And when we joined Calypso, they had no keys to do anything like technology or open this and internet and booking company and agent. They had nothing like that.
So let me ask you this
Actually,
question.
wait, hold up, Casey.
Sorry.
Wait, no, is that? I would believe that, but Casey and I was having this conversation about how Trinidad operates in a delay effect. It's a latency.
Yeah.
So in your time,
Yeah.
there was a music industry that was established by the Americans. That's why so many Calypsonians were swindled out of their masters, their publishing. Like, look at Crazy. We did work for Crazy, and we were going through a process of trying to help him.
Calypso didn't have no knowledge of recording. I spent my first recording.
No, but it's not just you all and have the information. That's
They had
human
no
nature.
information.
Most humans don't want to know about the thing that they're going into. Like we still encountering that even up to today.
Don't judge the Calypsonian of 2020
I judging everybody.
with the eyes of 1940 and 1950. You got to judge the Calypsonian of 1940 with the eyes of 1940.
Yeah, but
That's a
we've
good
come
point.
across. No, but
That's a
Casey,
good point.
we
No,
have
that's a
come
good
And
across.
that's what you're doing right now.
So let me ask a question here, right? Because as a young musician, well, a fairly young still, right? As a young musician, interested in getting into the art of calypso and the genre, and looking to create something out of it. What is there in place for me right now to encourage me to go on that path?
To
In
go
terms through the older calypsonians or
One, and the one point, the finance is much better.
uh-huh.
The finance of a musician today is 200,000 times better than the finance of a Calypsonian. And that alone.
Yo, in posting, I'm put some of the pictures now, like
And
just
I,
jumping
and,
up.
and don't let me I could get example upon examples.
Right.
Let me
Give
give
me
one.
example now.
Give
Give me
me
two.
one, give me
No,
one.
no,
Give
hey,
one.
give me three. Give me three.
I'll give three. I'll give one. Lord Pretender, his book, I've written his book. First money event, he said that they take a train, in his valley train. And they went up to Arima, they was training to go to Arima, and they went to spend the whole weekend up there. And they sing Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and come down back Monday morning.
Right.
And when he reached by the railway station, he had a executor have a bag, but he said, no executor have a crown. When he has a crown, them big two shilling piece. He said, I might get that. When he reached the executor, gave him 3 orange.
God.
And after he get the 3 orange, executor watch him and say, where you watching me so for? Them is navel orange,
Never.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you get-
okay.
you-
So
you
it's a
get
sweet
you.
orange. So
You can give my backhand. Like, you look.
Wait. No, but Chucky,
But
on,
yeah.
on that same topic, okay, so
The first,
you would
man
have
win,
won.
the first man win money in this Calypso, in history of Calypso, is Marshall Montano. He
Wait.
got $40,000 for Young Kings.
Wow. So Chucky, just now. So the first time you would have won the monarch, because you won it 10 times?
Yeah, 9 times. My first pay money was $1,000.
Well done.
$1,000.
$1,000. And Duke won 4 crowns
That's
and he get
plenty back
$4,000. Yes, $1,000. Up to
What year was that?
1,800?
1960.
$1,000. Yeah, that was plenty money.
No, bro. No, bro.
$1,000 in 1968.
$1,000. And that is big money to what the fellas before me had. God.
Okay.
Eric Williams put his hand in his pocket. This history now. And gave Sparrow and Melody 25 cents extra.
No, so what you're saying is that
I'm sorry for laughing, but looking back now at that, like 25 cents extra is like, wow.
So
dude.
don't judge the Calypsonian of 2020 before you.
No, but I'm
All
not
right.
judging the clips. I'm judging the psychology of people because, like, we meet people on a day-to-day basis because of the company and specifically artists, and they don't even want to educate themselves about the basic fundamentals of how not to get swindled.
Yeah. I agree.
They just want somebody to pamper them. It's like the colonial mindset, like
So
they
the
want to be a
Calyp-
slave.
so the Calypsonian of the 60s and 70s knew nothing about agents, knew nothing about managers, knew nothing about how to find a dollar,
So
knew
who
nothing
was
about
booking
signing
them?
contracts.
Who was booking them and getting them out of the country?
A friend.
What do you mean a friend?
A friend outside who come down, McLeod them come down and see that and,
So,
yes, and thing, you know,
As
etc.
you say that,
and you pull jacket, you know pulling jacket?
Nah, I don't pull no jacket.
Really see.
Whoop,
I
where's
don't know what I
pulling
mean.
jacket?
Tell me,
Where's
tell
pulling
me.
jacket?
I
Where's
don't know.
pulling jacket?
That sounds real sexual, but you know.
Pulling jacket is when a big man pass, you go behind the back and pull his jacket.
That sounds like robbery.
Help me now,
No,
God.
that help me. Not like Tupac pull the jacket and pull your Glock,
okay,
right?
so
Calypsonians
it's
used-
a peasant kind of thing.
Calypsonian is a pull jacket.
Well, as we talking about the 60s and the 70s,
Yep.
you would have found that Harry Belafonte would have been making
no
hundreds of thousands and maybe even
Exactly.
millions.
Not
Yes.
no $1,000 with an extra 10 cents or 25 cents.
Belafonte made thousands and thousands and millions. Belafonte sang made the first $1 million sale.
Tell us a little bit about Harry.
I mean, the Grammys was invented for him, right?
Yes, but Belafonte already made the first $1 million sale. He gave Melody a lot of money.
Ah.
Yeah,
But-
because he was writing for him, right?
Yeah, but the money Melody was getting, Melody lived a very extravagant style.
Really?
Belafonte gave Melody a Jeep, one of the first Jeeps in this country. Melody to drive.
So what he do with it?
He knock about it and sell it somewhere or something or cash it.
So
He's a drinker.
no, but that is the typical mindset of colonialism. Because when you look at black people in America who come from poverty, who go into sports and entertainment, they get a big check, but nobody taught them how to
How to save,
Manage
how to
money.
save
how to
and how to
manage.
manage money.
Management.
Good.
So it all come back to the colonial mindset.
So
like
it's only
people,
colonial management. Fellas that go to university to study how to manage money.
not
no
them,
money,
them, no,
man.
them went to school to bounce a ball and sing. They don't study
You
about
have, to
nothing
go,
else.
you have to go to a university and understand how to manage money. If you give money right now, you're going to mismanage it.
Who, me?
Yes.
No, I don't like to spend money. I like you and I are friends, sir.
You see? So that not spending money is not management. You have to spend. You have to invest. So I'm saying
on.
the whole scale.
On that same note, Chucky, Lamar and I were having a conversation,
Who?
Bibo, and he was saying that, you know, a lot of the songs that Melody wrote for Harry Belafonte were Jamaican folk songs now.
Yes.
What about Trinidad's
Folk
folk songs that were used in Calypso form?
Yeah, and they ain't nothing from it, nothing at all. And a lot of our folk songs have been used in films. Lionel and fellas make films. And what they get for it?
Nada.
Absolutely nothing.
Who they
Why
get?
why do you think is that?
Well, whatever they got was a big thing to them. The fame was a big thing to them. When Lion came back down here, he was walking on clouds. His fame is that he went to the States.
So it was a never see come see
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
a
thing.
big thing for the-
Yeah.
No,
When-
you can't just sum it up to that. Like, you have to understand the psychology. These people, like, they came from having absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
It came like the first time we worked with Doggy Slaughter on the RR Rhythm, he was telling us, yo, like, do you know what it feels to come from nothing and have your face on a billboard or your song on top of the charts?
that'd be
Like,
crazy.
women, friends, your own family just treat you differently.
Yeah. So Kitchener would used to choose people to go on his record and to sing on his record. And when you hit a Kitchener record, as a fame, where did Rhoda come from? Singing record, singing Kitchener chorus.
He was a background singer.
Good. If he wasn't a background chorus, he would have never sang the Be a Calypsonian. Is that giving the fame? He and Jacob down there who started that thing, Kitchener chorus is singing.
All right, well, Chucky, let me fast forward, right? So we have a lot of history written on the Calypso, but what is very blurred to us is the transition from Calypso to soca. And what is the difference? Like, why people
Think.
other than the tempo and the topics, what is the differences you find with Calypso and soca?
Big difference. The big difference between the Calypso and the soca is the lyrical content. In the sense that one can say anything to a large extent in the lyrics of the soca and get away with it. Because you
What do you mean anything? Because, I mean, the themes of most soca persist in a party. Like, that is it.
Yeah, may have a theme, but the lyrics don't fit the theme sometimes. The singer has stupidness. In the sense, yes, the songs have stupidness because the lyrics sometimes don't blend with what the theme. People want to dance, people want to jump up, people want to fet.
Kind of like disco
You don't
music.
have to rhyme.
Right, so sometimes they don't really care what it is.
They don't care whether they rhyme or not. When I listen to soca, I see no rhyme. I see no rhyming schemes. I see no measurement.
Well, with modern day soca.
Modern day soca.
No, but modern day soca is more R&B melodies on top
Good.
of soca drums, and I still garbage to me
Good.
too.
So I'm saying, so the big difference between, you could get away with a song if you say this is a soca. But you don't get away in a Calypso tent, or you don't get away with a Calypso judge. If
Yeah, do
sing
that,
it.
Right,
Yeah, it don't
because
have to
the
make
judging
sense.
by
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like
content.
Denise Plummer, like when
Good.
they hit you with all posy and thing and
Good. So that,
orange.
well, I ain't want to go into the plan,
Come
but
now,
it had to
man,
make
she's
sense.
singing gospel now.
All right, I ain't hear what you're singing. But in the Calypso, first thing you want a rhyme. 2, you want a rhyme and make sense. 3, you want measured lyrics.
Okay.
You want a storyline. If I sing in soca,
Just
I don't have to
remember what you're
concentrate
saying,
on these things.
Remember what you're saying, okay?
Of
Tell me,
course,
no,
man.
remember what you're saying, okay? Tell me and teach me how to write clips of music,
Yeah. In other words,
Okay, so you rush past that, I mean, I know.
in other words, the fellow who could write soca, he can write a Calypso, you know.
I give you that.
And there are hundreds of people who have degrees in English can write a Calypso, you know.
I agree, though.
I agree with that as well.
No, that is not just indigenous to soca, because when you look at pop music like Max Martin, these guys could barely speak English, but they're writing hit American songs one after the other.
So that it's a skill. And many times I tell myself, and all you might believe me, many times I tell myself, like Rudy Pickett one day asked me, Chucky, who write Afraid Carl? So I say, I want to cuss him. He said, who write Afraid Carl? I want to cuss Rudy, so I drop him to school in Cuba. When I come back in the evening, he say, Chucky, who write Afraid Carl? You expect somebody to write a Calypso for me? I answer him.
No, KC, this is a good point for him, man, because remember, so like we were working with a group of guys that we won't mention, and they were doing a song for X artist, right?
Yeah.
Now, this X artist writes all of his music,
Yeah.
but his career is kind of tanking now.
Yeah.
KC, you will take it from there, because I feel like I don't want to say too much.
Let me finish the
Because
story.
it's the exact same thing he do. He writes all of his songs,
Yeah.
but it's not helping him right now.
Well, I write all my songs. I've never taken a song from nobody.
But you're a different animal.
So Rudy knows that. So when I drop Rudy in Arpita Avenue, as he come out of the car, I so vexed. I don't want to cuss him. He come out of the car. He say, Chucky, who write Afraid Carl? I want to cuss Rudy.
Cuss him.
He said, Chucky, you know who write Afraid Carl? I said, tell me. He said, Jesus Christ.
Dreams.
All right. Okay.
Dreams.
Nice.
Dreams.
What do you mean by dreams?
KC, you trying to start me that conversation, but we're going on that with a religion?
In other words, it's not religion.
Who tell you that?
No, it's not religion.
Okay.
There's a kind of spirituality.
Jesus is
in
not
the sense that,
spirituality?
listen to me, in the sense that when I look back at my songs, and sometimes they play them for me, I can't remember writing that.
So you're talking
And
about...
sometimes I don't know how I write that.
So you're
Okay.
tapping into a force
So
that
that
exists.
so I
Because in all
enter,
fairness,
I
Albert
enter into
Einstein said the same
I
thing.
enter into a spirit, and sometimes lines come to me, and I
Well,
change them.
a trance.
You know what I told Casey
A
last
trance,
night?
you see.
You know what I told Casey last night? I told Casey Casey last night. I said, Casey, I want to change the line in a song.
Well, Murder Frenzy?
Yeah.
Yo, the best line in that Murder Frenzy song is it have a bandit factory in Davadi, dog. I did.
So what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to say I'm a religious person. I'm trying to say sometimes when you write, different people write, you want to Valentino leaves school in standard 4? Which teacher put that in Valentino's head?
Okay. Yes.
And what
Because
when Ash
he have
Wednesday
some-
come and pass, the people does go back to their race and class. So the only thing to keep them together is mass. What Bantu is saying is what sociologists can't say about.
But it's called imprinting.
I know what
So
you
from
call it.
from a young kid, like he was around the culture enough
So
to
that,
imprint
so
on
that,
him.
so that
No,
Valentino,
but what Chucky's saying is the ability to articulate
to
the
articulate
message.
the
now.
messages.
Well,
Instead of-
Nobody
instead of
teach
words,
him that.
Nobody teach him that.
No.
you don't need people to teach you stuff once they imprinting you as a child. That's
No,
what
no,
they
no,
do with
no.
some of these
Articul-
old-
you
I
can't
think what you're
imprint
talking about
articulation
is
on
the-
a child. I can't see how
I
that.
think what you're talking about is a natural spirit that comes to him. That comes out to him.
Sometimes things come to you and you say, but it's
So you're talking about the trance that most people get into, because Albert Einstein was the best person who explained that. Like he came up a lot of his theories because he go into this trance and he tap into this higher power and it gives him all of these ideas. Is that what you're talking about?
no. But
Okay, I guess I will.
Because Albert Einstein never see pan in his life.
Ooh, well, all right, I can't fight today. I can't fight today. Nah, Casey don't give no props now. Yo, what the time is today?
Okay, so
No,
but
me don't
okay,
treatment is
so
bad, you know.
Chucky,
Yeah.
you know, I know that you inspire a lot of young people. You know, whether you decided to do it consciously or it was just the
Byproduct.
natural byproduct of you being a teacher.
Yeah.
But what do you think that you could do as an elder Calypsonian to try to inspire some of the younger Calypsonians to...
Yeah. So I sang this in 1968 when I sang Brain Drain.
How old were you?
1968, 24 years old, 24,
Oh,
25.
okay.
And I was trying to tell people, let's start to bring Calypso in the schools. And that Calypso must be taught. And unless people understand the art form, we're going to lose it.
Well, here's the thing, right?
So I tried all that in school. I begged the Ministry of
I
Education.
don't think you should have a message towards the ones who are Calypsonians because they already have a passion. What about the ones who don't like their own culture, like
That's what I was trying to get at.
Because
and my best work in Calypso
Yes.
was in the year 2006 when I took 40 little fellas in Calypso and Joan them to teach them Calypso, and she gave me them for 1 day, and I said, no, how long do you want to say? Give me them for 6 months. And I took 40 of them for 6 months in St. Anne's, and out of them came all the Calypsons today come from them.
Wow.
Nice.
All
So
the
we
great
need-
Calypsons, from
so we-
Dwayne O'Connor to Devon Seals,
Call the names.
to Devon
Wow.
Because I was
Seals,
coming for you today, you know.
to Lady Ayana, to Twiggy, to all of them came
So
out
we
of that
need
classroom.
we need
To
more
Sean
of that
Daniel,
mentorship.
All came from
No,
that
but
class.
That is what we believe because the like you said, like being in the music industry is no different from
And
you being
Stinger.
a plumber.
And
you have to
Stinger.
pass on. You need to go through a period of being
And
an
Bodyguard,
apprentice.
I can't remember the names, and Stinger and Bodyguard.
No, and those names that you're calling there are staples in
Staples
art form right now.
And they started off with me as children. And Lisa Wickham.
Lisa Wick.
So let me ask you a question now. Like, being there in that time and being here in this time as well, what do you think that we can do now, currently?
So one thing we have to do now, we have to go to the classroom. We have to help children in that classroom. We have to help them in that. That's one way. Two, you can't learn Calypso and no Calypso alone. A fella can't sit down in the classroom and say, I want to learn Calypso.
Yeah.
And he study Calypso and study rhythm because there's more to the Calypso than the rhythm.
Right.
Because he's singing to a doctor.
Yeah.
And therefore he has to know doctoring arts. And he's singing to a lawyer, so he has to know the lawyer's
Yeah,
art.
you had to
So there are
do
many
social
disciplines.
studies.
Yeah, you had all the social studies, all the
subjects.
biology.
You had to
So, like,
study all the
yeah.
subjects.
You have to study all the
Because
subjects.
there's many different disciplines that you tap
And when you
into.
go to England, you have to study people and society in England.
No,
You
but I
can't go
don't
and
think-
cuss people in England.
I don't necessarily think that reaching the kids through school is the only way because right now kids have phones and social media is a thing. Like we need to find a way to make Calypso, the ideology Calypso a lot more youthful.
There's a media for the communication, but there are some things you can't teach by that. You can't teach people.
But you can entice them. As
you can
a
entice
salesman,
them.
you need to
But
bring them
there's-
in first
for
before
example,
you can teach them.
For example, it is a very difficult thing to learn people's culture through your technology. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, all right, I agree
Because you
with
can't.
that. I agree
The
with
experience.
You can't. You can't watch a class in England and say, "Let me play mass."
No.
You can't watch a class in England and say, "We go dingo later today." Tell them that. No.
Well, Chalky, this is an issue that we having. Is a major issue we having that Zane and I had a lengthy discussion on because
Yeah, you cuss
a
me
lot
too.
of us here
Yeah.
look at rock videos and fall in love with rock, look
Correct.
at hip hop and fall in
fall
love
in
with
love
hip
with
hop.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dream, not the American
Then
dream.
think that we could go out there and play rock like the Americans.
Correct. You
Like-
can't.
But there's a song like that. I don't know if you could remind me of the name of the Calypsonian, but he spoke about who have more sugar and nobody.
Power.
Right, the mighty power.
Mighty power.
Brazil have football. We can have more football than Brazil.
You think them could go to England and say they have law? You must be mad, oh my lad. England have more law, more than Trinidad.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, why respect your culture? You're making me feel bad, oh my lord. Calypso and steel band are the culture of Trinidad.
So let me
see-
throw out a statement at you.
M to the power 4.